we get out into that lovely audience right now. Jessica has a question for Brian. Jessica, what would you like to ask?
Hi, Brian. Thank you. We had a fire in October, and so what we have currently is it's all gone, it's all blank slate, and we're looking for something more modern and contemporary.
Yes, so this is the kitchen. We've got here, and I want to show you, the kitchen is, there's a refrigerator beside the oven, and then it wraps around in a U, and then to the dining room, there are two doorways into the kitchen, which I can't quite figure out. If it was a restaurant, I get it, in and out, but I don't quite get it for the kitchen. So what I want Jessica to do is remove the section between the two doors, put a beam there, and let's get an island in the kitchen. So I would move the fridge. The oven was right in the corner and the fridge there. I don't like ovens or walls beside the cooktop. I just don't think it's a good idea for an appliance to have that heat beside it, or a wall anyway. So we're gonna move the oven, have a little bit of counter on both sides, move the fridge to the other side so we still have our triangle. Remove that wall that was here in between, have an island in the center, and put some counter stools there. And I would, you could do a mixture of painted and stained if you wanted. You could do, I would do the uppers in glass, and if you don't want them to be visible, you could do them in a frosted glass, and that's going to break up all of that upper cabinet. And then I would do maybe a stained island and do some distressed floors, because this house is sort of more of a country feel. So I would do, but still modern. So I would probably do a painted perimeter kitchen and a stained island, and go with some dark rustic floors. I think that would be beautiful.
We talked about mirrors before. What's your idea? I love the frosted glass up top, but I've seen some beautiful antiqued mirrored cabinet fronts.
Yes, and backsplashes too. Backsplashes too.
It's nice that, Jessica, it's a bad thing that happened, the fire, but this is the silver lining.
Yes.
You know, Brian Gluckstein can come in and give you a new design. So it's not so bad. And that's nice. Those ideas are going to be great, and it's going to look awesome. So thanks for that.
But that's why you really have to have check your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors every year.
And even that thing you said about, you know, having a cooktop against the wall. The other thing is you need somewhere to rest your pans, your pots and pans. You need that counter space on either side.
And every kitchen should have a fire extinguisher in it, especially mine, because the way I cook. But every kitchen should have a fire extinguisher. And I have a fire extinguisher on every floor.
Yeah.
I have it in the laundry room where you have fires from the lint traps.
Good for you.
And I have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen.
Oh, I'm good, but not that good. I just have the fire department over every other week. At some point, they rang my bell and they're like, "We know who you are." I was like, "No!"
I hit that too.
Right?
I burnt toast, and my smoke detector's hooked up to the alarm system. So if the phone rang, I said, "Don't send the fire department." As I'm talking, bing, bing, bing. So the door opens, and all these firemen come in, and I'm like, "Can you take off your boots?"
CBS to take out something else. That's just me.
They weren't that cool on that. But then I told them what it was. They came in, they looked around. Then one of them said, "Can I just walk around the house?"
Get a tour.
So I gave them a tour of the house, and then they left.
That's sweet. That is so good. All right, Jennifer, you've got a question for Jackie right now. What would you like to ask her?
Thank you. We just recently repainted our dining room front room combination, and I'd like to know what your recommendations are for colors for accents and drapery, as well for storage in the front room, because we have a 2-year-old and he tends to play in the front room a lot, but we don't like the toys everywhere.
Yeah, he's a cute part of the decor, actually. You'll see him in a little bit.
In a moment. So it's one big room. It's about 12 by 20. So it's not a huge room, but it's doing double duty. It's not only a dining room, but there is some seating. And when you'll see, so here's your dining room side, and then you've got the little dude, Jonathan, who is taking over the other side of the room. So we were chatting earlier, and you know so Jennifer's already painted the walls, and they're a beautiful buttery yellow. So let's just quickly address the window treatments. First of all, they're just blending into the wall. So I'm going to suggest that she remove the drapery as well as the under treatment, the sheer. And just, she can keep the rods if she wishes, because she's going to need some sort of rod. You could change them, but I think they work just fine. And just do simple drop panels. But I think we need to neutralize them a little bit. So I'm suggesting that she needs to get a warm neutral, like a creamy white, not a pure white, because her trim color, I usually play off the trim color, but it's a pure white. So use a creamy white, and maybe just sort of a buttery, little bit of that warmth, not a cool white, and maybe a damask, something too, because there is a traditional value to it. If you remember the dining room ensemble, and that way, even a damask tone on tone will give it a little bit of elegance. Now, more importantly, she needs some storage issues, or has some storage issues. So I was looking at it thinking, she likes the formality of her buffet hutch and her dining room table. Let's not touch that. Let's indeed touch where little Jonathan plays. So why don't we utilize the window area and simply build in window seats? It becomes a really great area, lots of pillows. You can read there, have a glass of wine, have, read stories, play, and then get a great big ottoman, which easy enough. There's lots of stores that will have those, reasonably priced, with storage in between, or storage actually in it, and then some chairs. They could be swivel, but she has a really great tufted chair already. But this really utilizes that area of the room at such time when she wants to expand it and make it more of an adult space, which typically as our children grow up, we start to move them out of those play areas and we start to make it more serious for us. So this is just an elevation showing again. We're utilizing lots of storage below, so when somebody comes over, she can quickly toss those toys into those drawers and she can have a space that's worthy of entertaining.
Open up that entire ottoman and shove the entire Lego castle inside.
Including Jonathan.
And
No, not Jonathan.
he's in the ottoman. Good advice there. It pays to come down with pictures on your iPhone as well. Mara came down and had a question that I'm going to get you to answer, Leigh-Ann. So she's just interested in exterior paint colors. A lot of our viewers are going to be asking about the same thing.
It's the season. It's right around the corner. Painting that front door.
It's about to be warm enough that you can get out there and switch up your exterior. And she wants some suggestions because right now it's just white.
White door, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with white. I think white gets a bad rap for front doors because yes, it can look unfinished because that's usually how they come, like manufacture. But if white's working with your decor and it makes sense, I say go with it. However, Mara wants a change. So it kind of comes back to basics of how you're going to address exterior colors for your home. The first thing is you want to look at the existing colors that aren't going to change. So the facade. So she had brick, a natural brick. Work with that color, the roof color, and you don't want to pick anything that's too outside of the box per se from what's going to work in terms of the style of the home as well. So I think what a lot of people tend to do is they'll settle on a color and they'll say, I want a yellow, bright sunny yellow, and they go on Pinterest and they pin 10,000 pictures of great yellow doors, and then they go to the paint store and they'll pull something like a yellow. They're drawn to the yellow. When we're working with exterior, we've talked about this so many times on the show, you really want to tone it down. So tonal colors that have that sense of gray that the sunlight will absorb because there's so much of it. So just in comparison with the yellow, this is what I would avoid, and this is something that I would go more towards, and you can see even looking at the comparison, this one doesn't even look like a yellow, but trust me, in natural sunlight it will. So working with the existing colors of your exterior is key. The better tip I even heard recently talking to Carson Arthur, our friend Carson, he said beyond your own house of assessing the colors on your exterior, stand at your front door and scan your neighbors' homes. And if nobody else's house in the neighborhood has bright yellows, teal blues, purples, and all these colors, you don't want to be that house that everybody drives past and says, it's that, like that's that house. You don't want to be this. So you might want to maybe, like in an afternoon when everyone's at work, go and just compare your front door colors to everybody else's front door color. Do a little like quick run up to their front doors just to see, make sure that you're kind of fitting into the neighborhood. But that shouldn't stop you from having your own personality of picking a bold color to draw attention.
You can do it in a way where you blend.
Exactly.
Where you blend a little bit more. At least you're keeping up the integrity of the neighborhood so that you're not a standout.
Hitting that right tone, and that's why samples are so key. Bring a chip home, put it on your front door, test drive the trend or the color before you commit.
Good advice.
Same thing applies with husbands. Test drive them before you commit.
Absolutely.